Dylan.
I probably should have done that in Italian because, Italian Grand Prix.
Yeah,
But maybe I'll start doing that.
nonsense.
Instead of my doing my hello, Sydney, I'm gonna learn how to say hello in every single different language that we have to go into.
I like it.
What does Azerbaijan speak? I don't actually know.
I don't either.
That just shows how cultured we are. So
We try.
we're back, as always.
Azerbaijani.
Is that actually what they speak? We
Do
don't,
what?
is
You
that
glitched out.
is that actually what they speak?
Yeah, that's actually what they speak.
That's what it is. It's probably a form of I don't know. I'm gonna be so wrong and I don't want to offend anyone. So I'm
Looks
just,
like Russian is a
yeah, I was gonna say
big
that.
thing.
That's what it is. But
Yeah.
so
Hmm, cool.
we're back. Tread lightly. This is episode 22 now, I think, which
I
is
know.
kind of insane. I
It
think
is insane if you think
we're
about it. We've
actually
been doing this for a
doing this
while.
a full year now, which is pretty insane too, because I think we started doing this in September of now. I could also be very wrong about that. I don't. I think the idea was,
I if not September, definitely very
let's see. We have a pretty
close.
short episode today, so we could kill some time looking at how long ago we started this. But
I was gonna say I have something in my notes app.
episode one was filmed 5 months ago, so I was way off. But the idea started in July, so we just waited
It did. It did start pretty early on, but I would say you got
five
pretty
months
busy.
ago.
I was pretty busy. And I want to say by the time that we really wanted to start doing it, it was like holiday season.
Yeah,
So
5 months ago would be what? This is the ninth month for April,
no, we definitely
April
did
or
it before
May.
April. We did it before the
See.
season started. The season started in February.
Episode one was published March 15th, 2025. So March.
Okay, I was gonna say we definitely did it before that.
So we're not a full year in. We're getting there. We're having fun with it. But now we know March 15th, 2025, we're gonna throw a big episode.
Isn't that the Ides of March?
I couldn't tell you.
I think it is. That's like
I'm also I
May.
have it in front of us. We look so different than what we did like
Really?
6 months
Good
ago.
or bad?
Because you had the different layout of the house, of the apartment.
Oh yeah, I moved my apartment.
I don't really know what's going on with me. This was before I started taking the stuff from my hair, so my hair looked really bad. But
Oh
now
my God, wait, this is crazy.
that's crazy. And I look just pale as anything, but it's fine. This was also us filming all these episodes at 12 o'clock at night, but now it's
Yeah.
6:25 p.m. on a Thursday, so we're getting
We
more
still
into,
got some, I mean, to be fair, it's gonna start getting dark sooner than later
and I'm
now.
gonna love that. I'm not gonna lie. So,
Oh my God, yeah, we do look different.
but
Crazy.
now let's get back into the F1 talk because we
Yeah.
had honestly a pretty boring race, but there were some big moments that we have to talk about, which is,
Yeah.
let's be honest, we probably wouldn't have done an episode this week because there's not really that much news. There isn't a race this weekend, and that last weekend's race was not that interesting until the very end when it got very interesting very fast. So we have to talk about it, and we're going to do a race recap as if it was normal because there were some stuff that
Yep.
happened before that. So I said we get right into it.
Let's do it. Let's hop in. I
So
like it. Monza.
Monza, and it's always a fun race in Monza, the
It is always
history.
fun. I like
And I will
Monza.
say, it is
Oh,
fun to see. The Ferraris are great in practice.
he did. I
And
was shocked.
I don't know what it is. Every single time it's at home Grand Prix, they seem to do pretty well.
I
Every
was shocked.
Lewis ended up qualifying, I believe, fifth, had to start 10th because of the grid penalty, which is a little unfortunate.
I
Charles
forgot about his.
qualified fourth. And for the first time in a while, we didn't see a McLaren on pole as Max pulled it out like he always does and ended up on
Broke
pole.
a record.
Did he? I didn't realize that either, but apparently he broke a record. So,
I think it was the fastest F1 race or lap.
well, race-wise, that race actually was speedy quick because I had a haircut scheduled at 11, not realizing that the race started at 9, and I had 40 minutes to get to my haircut. So, thank you,
I'm trying to
Max.
see. Yeah, it was a quick race. It was like what, an hour and maybe
Hour and
15
20
minutes?
minutes. Like it
Yeah.
was speedy. But
Um,
let's get right
yeah,
into it now,
I
the
think
actual race.
Max broke. Anyways,
Max got on pole and cooked. So, but before the race even starts on the formation lap, Nico Hulkenberg, unfortunate hydraulic issue with the car, has to retire the car before he even gets
yeah,
to the grid, which unfortunate because he's been pretty good the last couple weeks, or just the last couple months, honestly. He's struggled here and there in the last few
yeah.
weeks, actually, but I actually really like what Sauber's doing. They've kind of excited me for the whole Audi experience because they look good now and they're not really putting that much effort into this year's car. And I think that's going to do wonders for next year's car because I think
I agree.
Bortoletto's a lot better than people give him credit for, and Nico's a great driver, and he's just
I
never
mean,
really been
I
on
was
the.
gonna say if I mean they've been decently consistent for the most part, and if they haven't been consistent, it's because they're doing amazingly well for some unbeknownst reason. Like
Any team that can put Nico Hulkenberg on a podium deserves all the credit they can get because
that's
that's
crazy.
all I wanted to see. So, um, Nico unfortunately can't start. However, just going back on that, with how good they've been looking lately, I feel like it really shows how next year can be truly anyone's year because, like, you had Flavio Briatore talking about how Alpine could be competing for podiums next year, which just from the sounds of it sounds ridiculous because of how bad they've been. But then you realize everything's going to be different next year. The entire car is going to be different. Like,
Yeah, the whole grid's gonna change.
I'm so curious to see what McLaren ends up with next year because
I don't know, but
so dominant this year, and the years before this, they've been a midfield team. I'm so curious.
I'm hoping something similar. Cross your fingers.
I think we can probably assume they've been working on next year's car for a while, just because of how good they've been doing. So hopefully they'll be good. But digress. That's a topic for closer to the season. Now, start of the race. Obviously, Max on pole, Lando in second. And takes it at him. He actually has a great start for the first time in a while. But like every time Lando ever has a great start, something happens and Max shoves him onto the grass. Lando keeps it up and keeps it in second and keeps pushing, eventually forcing, not necessarily forcing, but Max has to cut the track to stay ahead
Sure. Yeah.
and ends up staying ahead, but has to give the place back. So Lando actually did probably as best of a start as he could have had in a very long time.
Yeah.
So, which
It was an
is
interesting start.
interesting start. Mowed a little grass, but it's fine. Um,
Always is.
always is fun. While this is all happening, Charles continues Ferrari's strong run of the weekend and takes third from Oscar, which is saying something because Oscar's always unreal.
Which is
That
kind
doesn't
of weird.
last very long.
Yeah, it was weird to think about, but
It doesn't last
kind of
long because while Max is giving the place back to, well, actually, first off, the first couple laps was a little chaotic, so I'm just trying to get my bearings a little bit. Uh, Oscar immediately tries taking third back from Charles and does it successfully with one of the best moves I've seen all year. He drove right around him on the outside. However, because Oscar or Lando and Max are all bunched up because Max has to give the position back, when Max gives the position back to Lando, it allows Oscar, uh, no, it allows Charles to take back third when Max gives up the position. I'm all over the place. You could tell there was so much going on at this point that I couldn't keep track.
it was a lot. I would say the first three laps was just is somebody gonna crash? Who's in first place? Who's in second? Who's in third? I don't know. Please don't crash. Thank you. Good night.
Mind you, we've now had two lead changes already and a couple changes of third. Max then takes back the lead on lap four. This is lap four. We've already had three lead changes. Takes it back on lap four and then doesn't give it back, drives away from the pack. And finally, everything starts to settle down because now we have Max in first, Lando in second, Oscar in third, Charles in fourth.
Yep.
Oh, not even. Charles is still in third at this point. Oscar then took it back on lap six. I'm really all over the place today because this race is so insane and
I
stuff.
mean, to be fair, it was like anybody's race at that point because there was so much movement within the grid itself that, like, genuinely, if one wrong move had happened, your entire thing would have changed. And it was like, it was so quick, though. You have to, like, I don't know.
There was
Like, it was
so much
literally
going
within
on.
3 to 4 minutes. Like, if you think about it, 3 to 4 minutes, there was so much going on.
And that's literally what it is. Because after lap six, this is when Oscar actually took P3 back. Now you have Max, Lando, Oscar, Charles. Nothing really happened. Like Lewis got all the way up to P6 from P10, passing the cars he needed to pass. Um,
Yeah.
but then literally nothing happened. Esteban Ocon got a penalty at some point during all this because he forced
Yeah,
Lance
for
off the
some
track.
lanes off. Didn't Alonso went out at some point?
That was actually the next big moment of the race. Lap
Yeah.
25 was when Alonso hit a curb trying to go a little aggressive
Yeah,
and
I don't know what that was.
destroyed the suspension of his car.
It like immediately destroyed it. He went way far over the curb. That was a
He did
lot. I
like he
don't,
went over it, but it wasn't like egregiously bad. But
it
like
wasn't horrible, but I just think he hit the right spot at the wrong time.
the suspension failed. He had to drag it back to the pits, which he was able to do. So no safety car. However, he has to retire from the race on lap 25. Um, yeah, and then again back to nothing really happening. Lewis or Yuki, I should say, and Lawson make contact. Nothing really happened. They kept going. Um, and then that's when the pits started to finally happen on lap 38. So we went from lap six of having just unbelievable amounts of action to literally
Nothing.
nothing until lap 38. When Max pits on lap 38, he's the first of the main guys to pit. However, at this point, he has close to a 10-second lead, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's literally doesn't even matter.
So Max pits on the lap 38 onto hards. So going to the end. Lap 41 is where we had something a little chaos, but not even anything crazy.
Say not
Ollie and
even.
Sainz make contact, spin each other out. Something that definitely didn't really warrant a penalty, in my opinion. It seemed like pretty standard. It seemed like exactly what happened with
Yeah.
Sainz and Lawson last week, where Sainz ended up getting a penalty when he shouldn't have,
I don't know because it looked like I look at it in two ways, and it's like, okay, I think Science definitely had the apex in that situation,
but he also cut him off and
but
like
I was gonna say, but he kind of cut him off. He didn't really leave room, but also I kind of also blame Ollie in the sense it's like, well, you have a brake pedal, you can at least, you
I
know what I
think
mean?
they they've kind of shown the precedent that what we originally thought was a penalty, it's really the opposite. Because like last week we
Yeah.
saw, right? We saw Lawson cut in front of Sainz and Sainz hit him, which seemed very much like Lawson slamming the door on him, but Sainz got the penalty for it. This is back last week. Then this week we had Sainz virtually do the exact same thing to Ollie, where he slammed the door on him and Ollie hit him, and then Ollie got the penalty. So
I'm wondering if it's something that they're looking at how far ahead the car is into the apex. Like if you
it
have
has to be
like I
because
was gonna say, because like if it's a point where like he's cutting you off at the very last second and you literally don't have a moment to break or react, I think it's totally fair to say like Science could have gotten that penalty. But it's like if he's cutting him off and maybe giving
it's
him a
so hard
very
to judge though
small chance.
because like it's a racing incident. They're racing. They're not going to hit out like back out of it if they're neck and neck and
No.
then someone gets ahead. Like it's just
No,
kind
they're
of hard
not.
to
But
judge.
it's like my thing is it's probably going to be how far from the apex or how much of whether it's a hundredth of a second that he gave Ollie to react or whether it's whatever, you know what I mean? I don't, God only knows what they judge that on, but
Yes. So Ollie ends up getting a 10-second penalty, which hurts a lot because he had a good race. And while this is going on, Kimmy pushes Alex Albon off the track, and he also gets a penalty. He was also running a very nice race, as was Albon. They both pushed up pretty significantly while this was all going on. However, Kimmy gets the penalty. It doesn't ruin his race. I believe he was still in the points, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah, I should check.
I was gonna say I can't remember. We had
Kimmy ended up. He ended up getting ninth, so it worked out. But
still a decent race.
it was a decent race. However, this is where everything gets a little chaotic. And this is something that we have to talk about because it's really the only main topic that is worth discussing right now. McLaren makes the call. At this point, Oscar had kind of driven away from Leclerc. Was actually pushing a little bit closer to Lando, so he was like 3.5 seconds out. Tells Lando that they're going to box Oscar first because they need to cover off from Leclerc. They definitely didn't need to cover off from Leclerc. There was like 4 seconds. They had plenty of time. However, Lando lets it happen. Oscar pits first on lap 46. With this math, Lando, if he just has a normal, even a slightly slow pit stop, he'll still be out ahead of Oscar, right? However, lap 47, Lando finally pits. It was a little bit slower than slow. Lando ends up having a 7-second pit stop, virtually erasing, well, absolutely erasing that 4 second lead he just had on Oscar. Oscar is suddenly ahead of him outside the pits, and
Not by much,
suddenly,
might I say, but
not by
still.
much, but he was still ahead. And suddenly, Papaya rules is back in play. For better or worse, it's usually for worse. So,
Yeah.
not great.
Yeah, we can talk about it in a second.
We talk about it. McLaren tells Oscar to swap. Oscar is gives his argument, but is surprisingly easy about it. Lets him go by, and that's how they end up finishing. Max wins the race. Lando in second. Oscar in third. Charles in fourth. George in fifth, which was the only point we got in our predictions because Sydney said that George would finish fifth. Everything else from all of us was wrong. So Sydney got 1 point.
Mr. Consistency.
Now up 44 to 40. So well done. I'll give it to
Mr.
you.
Consistency.
However, I believe both of us were very close to getting the bonus points because I had Lance getting 17th and he got 18th. And you
Yeah, and I
had,
had
what did you have
SD.
SD getting? You had SD getting 13th and he got 15th. And that was only
I was
because,
close.
and it was only
Not as
because
close
of the
as
pet.
you, but I was close.
So I was actually watching that while it was going on, hoping SD would fall all the way to the back because that meant Lance would get 17th. But it's fine. So I want to hear your thoughts now because we've heard me talk about all of this in terms of the recap. What should McLaren be doing here? Like, is that the right call? How do we go about it? And they
I
brought up Hungary of last year when they made this decision.
I don't know because like if you look at the pit stop with them pitting Oscar first, I think you can definitely argue. I don't think we needed to clear Leclerc by any sense. I think we would have been fine in hindsight. I mean, I think getting winning the race, I think was kind of out of question, but whatever, right? Um, I don't know, it's just hard because I also think that they make a good argument in the sense that like you look at the pit stop and it was like it wasn't Lando's fault by any means. It definitely was somebody on the team that I don't know what was going on there. That was just human error. 'Cause, but then it's like, okay, had Lando had at least a decent pit stop, wouldn't have to use Papaya rules. But then it's like, I mean, if you look at the argument that Oscar kind of said, I think it makes sense because it's like I think McLaren might have said something too. It gives each racer kind of fair game in the championship. I mean,
I think that's what people are upset about, though, because I think obviously I don't know if you heard about Max on the radio when GP told him that this
he
was happening.
laughed.
Max literally laughed and was like, "Just because Lando had a slow pit stop?" GP was
Yeah,
like, "It's
he
not our
literally
problem. Don't worry about it."
laughed,
Which
which
it's the championship mentality because Max would have never given that position back. He would have gone and finished the race and taken the extra points. Oscar not doing that is what's getting everyone mad because they're like, you're in a championship fight. Like, you probably should have just kept it and let it go. I obviously wanted Lando to get second because I'm a Lando guy. If I was
no,
Oscar, I
same.
probably wouldn't have let it happen. But I also like us as Lando's fans would have absolutely been mad at Oscar had he not given that point place back.
Yeah,
But we also could understand why he did it if he did do that. Like McLaren just continuously
I
puts everyone
under
in difficult positions every single time.
yeah, I understand why he did it, but it's just like I agree. Like you're in championship. Like it's not like it's that far. Like honestly, we could have one race that Oscar is DNF'd and Lando gets first, and we're right back to where it's whoever wins the next race is going to win. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's such a large spread that it's basically game over. Like Oscar
It's
shouldn't care.
currently a
But
30
it's like,
spread, so 31 points.
right? It's not a lot. I mean, that's two races. If you have Oscar DNF two races, Lando's in first. Like
Oscar
it's not.
DNF's next race and Lando wins, it is suddenly a 6 point lead, which
That's like then
is
it's like it's who's ever
it's
game at that
literally
point.
whoever
So
gets
it's just
first in the next
like
race.
I understand like I think it maybe provides entertainment purposes for like okay, yeah, maybe that does happen in the future and now it's even tighter and it's more exhilarating and stuff like that, but it's like I think you're like I don't know. Like if I was Oscar, I don't think I would do that. I think I understand just to like abide by the rules and to not piss anybody off. I would do that, but it's like I don't know. I mean, it's not like it was such a huge gap and it's not like he got too many points ahead. I mean, what? What was the difference? 6 points maybe?
Uh, Lando gained 3 points on Oscar because of it, so it's a 6 points win.
Like it's not like it's an ex extreme amount and it's like that's still if you even still think about it, like again, if Oscar DNFs and Lando wins, it's still what, 9 points then at that point? Give or
In
take
next race, you're
whatever.
saying?
I don't know.
Or next race, if Lando
I'm not
wins it, if Lando wins it and Oscar DNFs, it'll suddenly be a 6 point race. With what that means is whoever would win the race next week, the week after that would
I'm
be.
just saying like I don't I look at it in the sense that like A, it's a small enough spread that I don't think Oscar should be so willingly giving that up. But it's also like it's such a small amount of points that he gained from switching that place that it really shouldn't have mattered to begin with whether they switched or not because again, it's a two race thing. Like it's whoever wins if you know, like if Oscar DNFs then we're like you said 6 points, but
This
it's like
is
had they not switched it's still such a small it would be a one race
this
decision
is
from
a
like
very
it's a
similar
can't like
situation
announce.
to last year. Just because like in Hungary, when Lando gave Oscar the win, everyone was talking about was like if Lando miraculously came back and made it close with Max, and this is the reason he lost, they would be flipping out about it now. This is
Yeah.
that, but so much worse now because the championship fight is between the two guys that this was involving, right? So like if Lando wins this championship by 3 points, they're never gonna hear the end of this. Like
No, well, it's. I could understand if it was like a situation, like you said, like last year, where it had Lando caught up to Max, and all of a sudden it was because Oscar took the place back and whatever, you know what I mean? I can understand that. But it's like you have two of your drivers in contention to win a championship. It's not like it's Max and Lando. It's Max and or Lando and Oscar now. So it's not like you're not going to have a McLaren winning the championship, right? Whoever it ends up being. But it's also just like it's not it's too small of a spread to be giving things willy-nilly and being like, well, you can have this one, but you can have this one next race, and you can have this one next race. But it's also like situations
it
where
could
there's
make
not enough points being gained for it to literally matter.
it's one of
Like
those
if it
that's
was
like you
yeah, I don't
want to
know.
make it as fair as possible, right? Like
Yeah.
Like you understand it. Like we get it. Lando very obviously had drove the better race and did nothing wrong. Like he
No.
probably was his cleanest race in a very long time. He just didn't have the pace with Max because their McLaren's not a car that is like obviously one of the faster cars on the grid, but like they do better on the curves. Like when they're going around turns and on the curves. Monza's basically only high speed, right? So
Yeah.
that's why it's what Monza is, right? So naturally, you're not going to compete with the Red Bull here. However, you're still one of the faster cars. So Lando drove out of his mind. Like he was great.
It was
This
great. It was awesome.
it's just
Like it would have been
McLaren continuously makes issues that just don't need to happen, right? Like it's just the little things that make good teams good, right? Look, they've been flawless with all their pit stops all year. Probably the biggest pit stop of the year to this date is the one that they mess up. So it's just unfortunate because they do it to themselves every time.
well, it's almost like I'm gonna be a conspiracy theorist here. I wonder if it was sabotage. I don't know because like you look at the video, it's like he
Christian
just
Horner
stood
called in
there.
a
Like the guy
favor.
just, the dude just stood there. It was like
Well,
the
he
guy
said that he
literally,
thought it was tight enough, and then the guy behind him was like, "That's not good," and made him do it again.
like, dude,
So,
come on. Like, well, my thing is like, it's your job. I think you would know at least, maybe. I don't know, maybe he's new. Who knows? But he literally, the guy was just sitting there and he like literally tapped him, like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
oh, it's certainly it's just a little scary. It's a scary thought that this might actually come down to the last race, and that's going to be a reason for it.
it honestly
Because
might. And
you
it's
will never like Lando already gets hate and unnecessary hate. Mind may I remind you, is like everyone's all up in arms with Lando. I was like, Lando didn't do this. Like, he's not the one that
He didn't do anything.
like
No, absolutely. Are you kidding? I can understand if he was being a little, if he was driving like an idiot and
kind of
whatever
like
and was going to
when they
throw a
said,
fit. Yeah, all fair.
yeah, when they said on the radio, like, because people have to realize Lando played the team game here too, right? Like, when they said on the radio, we're boxing Oscar first, Lando questioned it and was like, why are we doing this? I'm ahead. Then he heard that we're covering off Leclerc. He doesn't know how far back Leclerc is. And he's like, all right, do it. Do what's best for the team. Now, had he realized that Leclerc was 4 seconds behind, I don't think he would have done that. But he was a team player too. So
No, I agree. And it was like,
it's just unfortunate because it's nothing that either driver did wrong. Because Oscar didn't do
it's
anything
not,
wrong. Like the
it's
only thing
not. And
Oscar maybe did wrong was not like he actually gave the position back, and that's just gonna
that's what I was
time
gonna
will
say.
tell.
Like, all I can do is sit here and give Oscar credit for, I mean, giving him the place back. Like, I couldn't, I mean, it was so far into the race at that point too that it was, whatever, right? But it's just like, at what point is too much? And like, how much are you like, are you doing this for entertainment purposes? Are you actually doing this to be fair and to like give both the contention? Because it's like at some point you just gotta let it go. You gotta let it play out how it's gonna play out because you can't have two winners, you can only have one. So
And I also saw something interesting. I don't know what the math was, but there's a mathematical scenario where McLaren could go 2-3 for the rest of the year and Max win every race, and Max would win the championship by 1 point. So you can't ever judge him out. You can't ever mark him out. So not that that's gonna happen.
honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I anything could happen and I would not be surprised.
And I'm a big like I'm
And
a Max hater. We know this, right? If Max somehow came back in this year and won the championship, I'll be
I
like,
think
I
I'd be
can't even be
converted
mad
to a
about that.
Mac.
Like,
You can't even be mad. I think I would be converted to a temporary Max fan at that point in time because
it's fun talking about this when
that's
it has zero
insane.
chance of happening. So
That's insane. That would be the pull off of the century. You could never let that go.
it won't
Ever.
happen. I think Oscar, I'm gonna make my prediction now. I think Oscar's winning this championship as much as I don't want him to. But
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I think he's had the better season. I think he's performed better. I mean, I don't think Lando's been bad. I think I would give Lando maybe another year.
so the standings
So
right
yeah,
now, just because I need to see it. Oscar's won 7 races with 14 podiums. Lando's won 5 races with 13 podiums. He did have the DNF, although people forget that Oscar in Australia also basically DNF'd, like he
it's
had like
bad.
that day. Um, Max is 63 points behind Lando. He's actually a lot closer than I thought he was, which is interesting. Um, Lando's obviously 31 behind Oscar. So a lot of time still to go. It's going to be very
Yeah,
interesting how they do it because
it'll be
Azerbaijan's a
interesting, and it's
fun one. I'm so excited for Azerbaijan. I love that race.
I know I like that one. It'll be
It's
interesting.
just got a
But
view.
yeah, I think it's I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. I think at some point Papaya rules kind of needs to go out the door, and I think you just need to let him race.
I think they're probably
It
realizing
is
that.
what it
I think they're
is.
going to realize we're even now. Like Lando gave Oscar their win last year, and Oscar gave Lando the place this year. I think it's probably even now. I think it's time to
I
just let it
agree.
go.
I mean, you can't control everything. Like you just gotta let it go. You gotta
No,
let it go, or Max is going to come back out of the blue and win if they keep going with this. So
we'll see. I don't think we're at that point yet, but it could quickly get
I
to
don't
that.
know.
One
You
DNF
never
from both of them.
know.
They take each other out, and suddenly Max is right back in it, which is a little
You
crazy.
never
Never
know.
know. Never know. So, because we don't have a race this weekend and we don't have really any news, we have Adidas and Audi partnered for next year.
Mhm.
We have nothing really to
Gasly
comment on it.
signed to
Gasly's like
2028.
extended, it's fine. I think that's really all we have today. And
Yeah, not too much.
it's fine because that was a big conversation that we needed to cover. So
Yeah.
please let us know your thoughts. Comment on
Yeah.
the
I'm
Instagram,
it's
comment on here.
yeah,
It's all of it. It's gonna be a
we'll
long week
see.
waiting because I'm very excited to see what happens next week. Azerbaijan's one of my favorite tracks, so we'll see what
It
happens.
is fun. It is a fun race.
In the
It
meantime,
is a
follow, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. Whatever you
friends,
want to do,
please.
help us out. Thank you guys for
Awesome.
watching.
Thank you.
and we'll see you guys later.